Welcome to the channel, Scott's Garage HTX. Don't forget the HTX. Well, today is May 4th, and all the Star Wars fans know what that means, including my two stepdaughters. This is the only costume I can muster up to a halfway fit, and it really doesn't do that very well. Could have used my littlest one's onesie Yoda costume, but she's 105 pounds, and that probably wouldn't have worked. Today, I gotta go to the shop. I'll be the cashier probably. I gotta go to the gym, and we're going to learn how to use the Force to detail your paint using a lightsaber. Okay, maybe it's not a lightsaber, it's one of those polishing tools, but you get the idea. Listen, Sydney, this one's for you.
We're going to detail a section of this car. I picked this car because it fits in this little space. We're out of the direct sunlight and it's not ceramic coated. First thing we're going to do is wash the car, then clay bar the car, and then wash the car again to get the clay bar residue off of the car. We're only going to do a section. I've got this taped off and we're going to compare and contrast the two sections. There are some swirl marks on this finish of this paint. It's pretty good finish, but it's not great. I'm going to try to show you the swirl marks in a subsection of the video separately, and I hope that picks up on the video. We're going to go through this process real quick. It's fairly simple, and then we're going to get to finishing the paint. First thing I'm going to do after the clay bar and washing is I'm going to use a total swirl remover, or swirl remover basically, and I'm going to use a medium pad for that. Match your coarseness of your polishing to the coarseness or fineness of your pads. Then after that, I'm going to use a finishing glaze with a fine foam pad, and then after that I'm going to use a deep paint sealant gloss with an ultra fine pad on it. We're going to be using the Flex polishing tool. I've had this for a long time, works great. Takes all the arm work out of this, and quite honestly, you're not going to get the same results doing this with elbow grease than you are with this machine. Let's get started. I've got two buckets here to simulate the wash. We're only going to wash a subsection of this car, not the whole thing. In. Off. Dry it. Now, one trick, and it's kind of a pain in the rear, when you dry off your car, just pat it down. I know that's time consuming, but it helps prevent swirl marks from getting into your paint if you're wiping it off like this. Now for the clay barring, they give you this stuff that's called Quick Detailer. It just acts as a lubricant on the paint itself, between the paint and the clay bar. Just spray that on, and you'll see that this will glide over your paint really easily, or some spaces it will actually catch and rub really hard. This is actually, you know, not catching really anywhere, not drastically anyway. A little bit right up to here. And when you get done with one section, all you got to do is knead this back into itself. Then you got some clean clay bar, and then you can go off and do the next section. We're going to wash off the car again to get rid of that residue. Now for the first step. Try to get this pad on this as evenly as possible. That's pretty good. And there's all kinds of methods to do this. Some people swirl this on here. Hold on. Some people put 3 little dabs on it. Whatever you do, really, I don't think it matters. But what does matter is not starting this thing before you put it on the car, because then you just splatter stuff all over the place. What I've been taught to do is to put the product on the car like so, Then I'm going to start with about a 5 to 6 on this particular speed on this particular model. And just go into it nice and slow. Back and forth one direction. And then the other direction.
Do you sell these or?
No, they're yours.
Okay, cool.
They're absolutely take you away. That's definitely what they're there for.
My husband loves watching, like, I'm assuming it's car.
It's all car.
Overlapping your
right there.
Yeah, he loves this kind of stuff.
By about 50%.
I do videos of car repair, road trips, you name it. Just in goofy stuff like this. And some of my daughters can make fun of me for this and that.
Oh, perfect. No, they're gonna have it forever.
Yeah.
There's no need to put a lot of pressure on this machine. This one goes forward.
The horse is strong with me today.
There you go. Pretty simple. Don't press down too tight, too hard. You can burn the paint. Don't turn up the speed too much. You can burn the paint. So, with that, you can take a microfiber towel and wipe it off. All right, as I said, the next step, I've got a finishing glaze, some polishing compound, and do the same thing. Well, maybe direct it away from you. Swirl it, dab it, whatever you want to do. And apply the product to the paint. I'm keeping about the same speed on this. Again, check your work. I'm going to get another towel so I'm not rubbing on the coarser polish onto the finer polish step. Oh, dear Lord, that's awesome. I'm telling you right now, you could probably stop, many people can stop at this point right here, a two-step polish, because this looks amazing. Moving on. Now I have an ultra fine pad on the machine, and I'm going to put some deep gloss kind of sealant on it. A little bit goes a long way, so not really needing much. And we're just going to finish it out. One thing I haven't done because I'm on the edge of this car, if you find this cord getting in your way, just drop it over your shoulder. I'm going to turn the speed up a little bit. But first I'm going to start it slow, and then I'm going to dial it up just a little bit more. And I'm going to take my time again. New towel. And wipe that off. That is really good. So let's take off the other tape and cut to that and show you the difference. I put it right down the middle and right straight away, not sure if you're catching this on this camera, I sure hope you are, but all these swirl marks that are in this paint right here on the left side of the car. Switch over to here and you can see the line right here. Here's the line between the two and the difference between that and this and the swirl marks inside there. Also, if you were to feel the difference, and I know you can't, but it's like night and day. This is like glass, this is just like sandpaper. A couple closing comments I have. These pads I've been using, they're usually color coded by coarseness. Two, you don't need to throw these away after this single use. They make cleansers for these that will clean these pads and the polishes off them, and you can reuse them again. Third thing I did, you'll notice I taped off this section. I taped off the black rubber and some of the black plastic. I'd even go so far as to take the side markers off when I'm doing this. I know it's a pain, but I'm telling you, it's not as much of a pain as cleaning all the wax off of all this stuff when you're done. That's all I got. Thanks for joining me.